game where nobody really cares. This is a week-long celebration. Everybody is in town for that week. You have the rookies. You had the U.S. versus Canada game this year instead of the rookies versus sophomores.
Right.
You have the dunk contest, the three-point contest, the skills contest. You have all of that, and it's just a party and a half. And I understand why he would go ahead and be late and all that would happen.
What?
But you're still a professional athlete, and there still has to be some sort of, you know what, I have work in the morning. Excuse me,
I have
guys.
work in the morning. I got to get out. I got to get to practice. And, you know, Evander Kane, unfortunately for the Sabres and for him, he goes ahead and he oversleeps, misses practice, and he's going to have to sit for a game. It's one game. I'm not too worried about this unless it becomes a trend like it did back in Winnipeg for Evander Kane. Guys, what are your thoughts on this whole thing with Kane? Is it a mess? Is this why, like, if someone didn't want Evander Kane in the first place, why they're going, I told you so? What are your thoughts here, guys? Frank, I'll start with you.
Well, he went to Toronto for the weekend, obviously, and he just they said he overslept, so it happened. I look at it as just it happens. You got to expect it with Evander Kane because that's just his personality. He likes to go, he likes to party, he likes to go out and have fun when he's not playing hockey, and it's just one instance where he ends up oversleeping and misses practice. He did call Tim Murray and say he wasn't going to be there, but it doesn't really matter. You know, it's still your job, so he's going to be suspended for the game. So that comes in no surprise, but it's just don't worry about it.
Yeah, I would consider it as a non-issue too. I mean, the guy parties, whatever, as I hear disco in the background. He parties.
This is not disco.
No, this
Okay.
is not disco.
This is Party
rave.
Boy.
This is Party Boy.
This is Party
This is
Boy.
probably what he was listening to last
This
night.
is Chris Pontius Party
have,
Boy.
Yes.
Good disco ball has dropped, and Derek and I have busted out the glow sticks.
Well, if I was Evander Kane listening to this last night, I probably would have overslept too.
Patrick Kane likes to party too, so I mean, we can go ahead and probably include him on that.
These darn Canes.
No, but I think it's a non-issue. I mean, the guy keeps playing. He's really starting to find his own on the ice on the ice hockey field. Is what I was
On the
gonna
ice
say.
hockey field.
On the ice hockey field, but who cares? All right, he's what, 23, 24? I did stupid things when I was 23, 24, and I wasn't a professional.
Some of you aren't even 23, 24 here.
Yeah, so don't worry. You get stupider, and then all of a sudden you meet a
You
girl.
guys are going to do dumb things. Congratulations.
You meet a
already do
girl,
dumb
and then you do dumb things to meet girls, and then you meet a girl, and you continue to do dumb things until the girl starts to yell at
That's
you a
so
lot.
true.
And then when you're done, the girl says, "All right, I kind of like you," and starts hanging out with you more. You stop doing dumb things only when she's not around, babe. If you're listening, I'm sorry. I no longer do dumb things, and I love you.
Wait, why are you apologizing if you no longer do dumb things?
Derek, here's the thing. I'm going to lay some marriage knowledge down on you. All right, you are always apologizing.
Well, guess what? Guess what? On the air, you are never apologizing.
Oh, I'm never wrong when I have my headphones on against you jambronis. I'm never going to apologize.
Jambronis?
Don't worry.
Jabronis.
No, jambronis.
Jabronis.
I said it correctly. Jambroni. It's a word. Don't worry. Look it up.
Okay.
But no.
Well, then again, he's
I
never
don't-
wrong when he's got the
right.
headphones on.
I don't think it's a big deal.
You jambronis.
I think people are causing it to be a big deal because they want it to be a big deal with him because, he was trouble, and he did absolutely nothing for so long. Everybody thought it was fun and cool when he took the helicopter to the World Series.
Absolutely.
But, now that he's a little bit late coming back from Toronto, oh well, who cares? He's suspended a game. He's got 81 more to play. There's 81 games in a season. What's one game going to matter? We're not like fighting for first place or anything or going to the Stanley Cup, so oh well.
As long as it's not a continuous thing like with Zordov.
Zadorov had a couple of those times where,
missed a bunch of
he was
times.
missing a lot of practices like that.
Zadorov was coming from like Russia and missed a plane, but I mean, I think to myself, oh wow, you have to reschedule.
The All-Star
wait,
break, though, he came back from a vacation.
Yeah, but what
Late.
I'm saying is with him, he missed his plane. I'm like, oh wow, that sucks. You got to buy a whole nother plane ticket. Oh wait, no, you're a professional hockey player. It doesn't matter. Pony up, boy. The music's off.
So, guys, Evander Kane is obviously going to miss this game. What I'm worried about here is how does it affect the guys like Jack Eichel, Sam Reinhart? And I think the team responded appropriately. They suspend him for a game, sit him down, and say, you can't do that. We got kids in this building that we're trying to teach how to be professional hockey players, so that's a bad. So,
Right. And you know what? I think when I watch the Sabres game, Sam Reinhart is the most intelligent player out on the ice hockey field.
Yeah.
And he is.
I feel like Reinhardt's the most responsible, intelligent 19-year-old in professional hockey right now.
Probably most responsible, intelligent 19-year-old ever. I mean, those things usually don't go hand in hand. Professional, responsible, 19-year-old. You know, that does not go. Those two words don't go well with each other. But I think Jack Eichel's the same way. I think you're teaching these guys, hey, if you guys do something stupid like this, even though it's something so minor as missing your alarm clock and being late to practice, oh well, you're going to get punished, and don't let it happen. And I think if Evander Kane doesn't see this as a reoccurring incident, I think we got nothing to worry about.
You know what? Joe DiBiase, who just came in, he was running late. I want Joe's thoughts on E. Kane here, and
are we giving him a nickname now?
I call him
not
E.
E. Kane.
No.
No way.
There's P. Kane and E. Kane.
No.
That's how I differentiate them.
No.
I'm sure we could come up with a pretty sick nickname for him. I don't want to have one off the top of my head, but first of all, I just want to say I'm a little offended that Ryan here listening couldn't determine what disco was versus hip hop.
It was faint in the background. I couldn't hear it. All right, blame my ears, not me.
Okay, so regarding Kane,
Keep playing it.
him being at the All-Star game, non-issue to me. I mean, no one brought up the fact that he was at the Blue Jays playoff game. When
Took
that
a helicopter to that game.
Took a
so-
helicopter to that game. Took his teammates, too, Jamie McGinn and Carlo Koliakovo. They had a game the next night. Didn't miss a practice. There was no practice that morning, so no one...
Two different things, though. What was it? Game 6 of the ALCS versus the All-Star game. Like I said, the whole city is a party city that weekend. Versus the ALCS, which is you want your team to win. There's two different levels of what was going on and what had happened. I think they might have went to the game and had a good time versus whatever went down yesterday.
Yeah, that's true, and I see that point. I just don't think it's an issue whatsoever, and seeing that this morning, I was just waiting for the Buffalo News article, getting ready to write him out of town, just because that seems to be the thing that they would do. But and Winnipeg fans are like, I told you so. Like, seeing all that kind of stuff on social media, people are just making a way too big a deal out of this. He overslept, and he's going to miss a game. He's not even suspended, by the way. He's going to be a healthy scratch. If he was suspended, he wouldn't get paid for it.
That's true.
He's going to be a healthy scratch for one game. The crime suits the punishment. So I think it should just end there. If it becomes a recurring issue, then the punishment should keep getting higher and higher.
And that's when a guy like a Ryan O'Reilly steps in and says, dude, what's going on?
Right, and it's not like Evander Kane's one of the main leaders on this team. I mean, he's one of the higher-end players because of his skill level, but he's not paid like one of the leaders of the team right now, and his character, no one's expecting him to be that. That's going to be O'Reilly, guys, even like young guys like Gergensen, and we see Eichel's going to develop into that at some point, and on the back end, guys like Josh Georges, those are your leaders. Evander Kane is not one of the main leaders on this team.
He doesn't have to be.
Right. So I don't understand why he has to go out there and be like this model citizen. I don't care what he does, honestly, off the ice, as long as it doesn't get him in trouble.
And you want to hear the
scores
best
goals.
part about the whole thing? Is that he went with his sister. He didn't go with like his posse or a crew or anything like that. He took his sister with him. That's like the most innocent, fun thing you can do. I mean, who knows? They could have got stupid, but...
they did judging by their Snapchat. By the way.
Yeah, but
Yeah, there was a decent amount of pictures about Evander Kane, and this is the best part I like about Evander Kane. He shows it off. He's like, "Yeah, I do this."
He was at one of the bars I was there.
You saw Evander Kane, Dominic?
Okay, so I was at NBA All-Star Weekend. I went Thursday night, Friday night, and I was there Saturday night. I
What
went
was
to the
going on
celebrity
Thursday night
game
this
on
weekend?
Friday
It was
night.
just Friday, Saturday,
And
Sunday.
There was actually a lot more. There was a lot more celebrity. There was a lot more like athletes and celebrities at the celebrity game on Friday than there were at the dunk contest,
So, hold on,
which I
let's
thought
bring-
was
let's-
interesting.
hold on,
But
let's
there's
bring it back a
a
bit.
bar right across the street from the Air Canada Center, and literally right across the street from the Air Canada Center, and
literally.
it's like
Literally.
2 seconds.
Right across.
It's like 2 seconds walking distance. So,
That's a
anyways,
narrow street.
so I went to on Friday. I went to the Celebrity All-Star Game. I sat about 6 rows up, and same with the dunk contest. And there's a bar across the street that I went to, and there was so many athletes there. They have there's a sectioned off part of the bar where it's just VIPs only, where Kevin Hart was there on Friday, and that's where that's where he was there too. And it cost $750 to get into the VIP room. So people weren't obviously paying $750, but you could totally tell he wasn't there with his normal posse, but he was there with people. I don't know who they were, but there was a lot of people there with people like Kevin Hart was there with people.
Did any of them talk like this?
I didn't talk to them. There was a huge bar fight though, and that's the one that I was.
It was Toronto's. Wait, bar fight. LeSean McCoy wasn't there?
No.
Oh, come on.
All right,
Yeah,
we'll go ahead. We'll segue into it.
Allegations.
Yeah, here, I'll let you guys.
Allegations.
And that's a segue. All right.
You were talking
By the
about
way,
the
the
leagues.
contest though was freaking amazing.
We'll get
that it was,
to
but-
that later on the second half of the show here.
I could have sworn the All-Star weekend was just 3 days, not 4.
He might have got there early. That was Dominic Taverna
Dom
of,
does like the party.
of trending
Parties on a
tonight.
Thursday.
College students.
Yeah.
True point.
But let's so as Derek said, was LeSean
They were
McCoy
arguing
there.
over the leagues.
And the LeSean McCoy thing is another thing. I mean,
That's
we
a little
think
more disturbing in my
a
opinion.
little bit more because sure, there's video that's surfaced about what had went down, but you can't. I'm saying this from and not a Bills fan or anything like that, but you can hardly see and tell 100% certainty that that's LeSean McCoy. I mean, it looks like him, but I can't tell because it's just his eyes. And he did hit 2 off-duty officers, great. But I think that the fact that the guys were off-duty should have a lot to do with it instead of being on duty and trying to start a fight. It sounds like from everything happened, the 2 cops had bottles of champagne. One of LeSean McCoy's friends tried to take one of the bottles of champagne from the guys. I don't know if it was theirs or if it was a miscommunication. A fight ensued. They fought back. And I'm sorry, you may be 2 off-duty police officers, but you are going to lose every single time the 4 football players or ex-football players. Big dudes, fast dudes, strong dudes. I don't care. And I think it's a shame that it happened in Philadelphia because I don't think LeSean McCoy is going to get a fair rep because there's a lot of people out there saying that he should be causing trouble in Buffalo. He shouldn't even be here anymore. He shouldn't do this. He shouldn't do that. He shouldn't do this. And it's just it doesn't seem like he's going to get a fair take in the city of in the city of Philadelphia just because that's where he's from, and it's sad to say.
Yeah, but I think that one's a little more distressing in my opinion. You've got Evander Kane missing practice, and he's been doing this sort of thing, but at the same time he's not swinging punches at people off the ice. He doesn't like Alex Petrovic's face, but he doesn't do it to people off the ice.
Yeah, it's not. Evander Kane
a
should
lot
not
of
be.
people don't like Petrovic's face.
Yeah, Evander Kane should not be compared to anyone, and I've heard a couple people already do it on Twitter. Shouldn't be compared to anyone.
That's the place.
Yeah, I won't.
Yeah,
I
let's
won't
take Twitter
name
for
names.
serious.
Yeah.
But don't don't compare him to anyone that's been involved in like domestic issues or assault because he's never done anything on that level.
There is the allegation.
There is the rape allegation that came out right before the playoffs, the NFL playoffs.
That's true, but I'm pretty sure at this point I've seen that was pretty much a non-issue and that it's already been resolved. That it was just like
It's
a
still
false
kind of
accusation.
lingering, but there's no new news of it.
But
Right.
you can't say that he's never had anything that happen. I mean, that did happen this year, and it's still kind of fresh in everybody's memory.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that it's a reoccurring thing for him. He seems like he's a pretty chill guy. But I mean,
Sometimes a little too chill.
we'll let things happen. We'll see what happens.
With McCoy, though, guys, there's a bit of a different story here. Yeah, there are these blazing hot takes from the guys, kind of like a Bucky
takes.
Gleason take, where it's like, get rid of the guy. My question to you guys is, does Buffalo act on this because of the running back position itself?
That might actually be hard to say, only because because who Rex Ryan is.
Mm-hmm.
And, you got to think back to the time where Rex Ryan had a lot of things going down with the New York Jets. If it wasn't for something in the media, it was something else. If it wasn't for his coaching style, it was something that he did in practice or off the field. Now he brings that aspect over to the Buffalo Bills. And you've got, in my mind, I'm like I said, I'm not a Bills fan either. I'm a huge Jets fan, but you bring the aspect, you have LeSean McCoy and Carlos Williams in that backfield. Both backs are more than capable of getting the job done for the Buffalo Bills. In my mind, if the Buffalo Bills decide to let LeSean McCoy go, in my mind, I think it's a bad move on their part because you've got a guy who, for one, this is his first time in trouble, so to say, with, in the public eyes.
Yes.
With the authorities, and to think that his trouble is not even in where he's playing. It's in his hometown of Philadelphia, where he broke into the league with the Philadelphia Eagles. So who's to say in that front office? They may give him another chance. They may sit down with Rex Ryan and say, hey, what do you want to do? But in my mind, I'd keep LeSean McCoy, maybe fine him, hand a suspension down, do something and say, listen, we're serious about this. We don't want it happening again. But honestly, it'd be a bad move to let LeSean McCoy go because now you've got one back instead of two explosive backs back there. With
I think what you
Williams.
got to do is you got to sit and wait and see what happens with the police.
Of course, there's
You
something
guys-
about the arrest warrant possibly coming from Wednesday.
Yeah.
But then again, they said that all of last week. There might be arrest warrant coming today. There might be
Arrest warrant is
today.
expected today. That's my best Brighton impersonation.
If they're going to hand it out, they would have already handed it out by now.
Well, the
mean,
thing
what's
They're
is,
Wait.
taking their time on this so that
When it's
they
a
can avoid a
celebrity-
good lawyer
when it- yeah,
saying,
'cause-
hey, you didn't look over this part.
There, you beat me to it. When it comes to a celebrity, you can get the best lawyer, and you got to make sure all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted. And that's what they're waiting for in this case with LeSean McCoy. They want to make sure they have a very, very stable case and that one that can't be taken off by flimsy evidence. And that's what they're
Yeah.
waiting for. And I mean, if it comes Wednesday, it comes Wednesday. Oh well, it's gonna come, and he says he's already gonna turn himself in. And as soon as he hears it's issued, he's gonna go to the police station, turn himself in, and so are all those boys. And then we're going to see what's going to happen. I think there's a problem when you want to say you want to get rid of him because of this has happened and all the things that he's done and said. He had 800 and some odd yards for this team, but it was some of the most exciting 800 yards of rushing I've seen out of a Buffalo
it
Bills
really was.
player in a while. He missed, 3 games?
And,
Full
and
games?
was injured for several more.
And was injured for several games. When he took the Cincinnati game off, it was like, okay, let him go ahead and get healed because I believe it was the
And then the Tennessee game as well.
Tennessee game. I believe it was
He missed both of those.
the
And-
Indianapolis game.
Yes.
Where he had a 30-yard run, like his first run from scrimmage.
Yes.
And he even said in the post review with Jeremy White, he goes, if I was 100%, I would have burned those guys. And then I thought to myself, okay, well, take your time off and see what happens. He went ahead, took his time off, and he burned those guys finally. He was able to play like he was supposed to play. And you want to go ahead and get rid of him. He's only 27. He's going to find a job somewhere else, and somebody's going to pay him what he was making here. I don't care. It's a stupid decision to get rid of him unless he's innocent until proven guilty in the United States, and let's see what happens.
what you got to figure out, you got to think about is last year, the Bills had another person, Aaron Cromer, get in a fight with kids on a beach, and he served the suspensions 6 weeks. The parents end up dropping it because I don't know why, but they did. So maybe the Bills get lucky and he doesn't face any charges and they dropped, but they still suspend him for 6 weeks for being in a fight because it's obviously not the right thing to do.
I'm not
especially-
sure it gets to 6 weeks.
6 weeks is a long time.
That'd have to be a repeat
He helped
offender.
put 2 guys in the hospital. So
I will say that I'm
right,
looking
but
at,
it's not like he went
I'm looking
up-
at 4.
I don't like the idea of, so let's go ahead, he put 2 guys in the hospital. I get what you're saying, but we don't know the circumstances of what happened. If those guys started the fight and said something to him or did something to a friend of his and he went ahead and hit somebody, fine. But it has to be, everything has to be, the blame has to be shared equally between all the guys and even including the off-duty cops. If it comes out and proven that LeSean McCoy and his friends went ahead and started the assault, then they should be punished to the full extent of the law of whatever they can go ahead and get punished. But the same can be said about the cops. If the cops ended up starting everything, they should be punished to the full extent of the law as well.
Yes.
It can't go both ways.
which is why it's smart not to cut him right now because
Also-
you want to wait and see on what happens.
This is going to be a bit of a burn here, but I don't see 6 games for LeSean McCoy here because you have to do something like deflate footballs to really get the ire of Roger Goodell.
Well, come on, it's Tom Brady. Who likes Tom Brady?
Well, I mean, it was a 6 game, and then it got knocked to 4, and then he went ahead and appealed in the Supreme Court and
Yeah.
never served the suspension.
Yeah. It's
So, I mean,
my thing though is that it's more or less people could do things off the football field, and Goodell gives you at most a 4-game suspension,
Well,
especially for a first-time offender.
well, here's funny. You can smoke marijuana 3 or 4 times and get caught with it and get suspended a whole year. But then, you deflate footballs or you get in a fight or you beat up a girl like Greg Hardy and only serve how many weeks did he serve? 6? 4?
Yeah, that was a 6-game suspension.
Yeah. So it's a little
So
ridiculous.
yeah,
It's
that's why I
very-
don't think there's 6 coming from McCoy.
It's very early in this process. That's why I don't really want to take a guess on how many games. But where does everyone think his odds are of being suspended at all are right now?
I'm looking
I would
at a
think they're-
90% chance here.
See, I don't.
I'm thinking if he's definitely going to get suspended, I'm thinking he's missing 2 games.
has
Yeah.
to be at most 2 games.
just
I'm
because
thinking
it's
it's gonna
so
be 2
early.
games.
I was thinking more like
2 or 3
6,
And
5, 7,
wait,
but-
now correct me if I'm wrong, but is it going to be 2 games this season or would it be 2 games next season by the way the NFL calendar works?
It'll be 2 games
The
this
league
season.
has not started. That's March 9th.
So it would be 2 games starting whenever football starts in September.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in theory, the court case isn't going to go. I mean, court cases are slow. So, in theory, they're going to suspend him for something that he didn't do, technically, in the eyes of the law. So, he could appeal it and say, let's wait till this comes out and then still play all 16 games, right?
Well,
Right?
it all
They
depends
might
on where.
aim high.
Yeah, it
Like they
depends
might
on,
aim high in a suspension and he gets a reduction to 2.
Yeah, and then it also depends on who the suspension's coming from. Because if it's coming from Roger Goodell in the NFL, then he can go ahead and he can appeal it. But who's not to say that the NFL is not going to act on it, not suspend him, but the Buffalo Bills
Bills can do
franchise-
it.
Oh
And you
no,
can't
go ahead and suspend
I
him.
fully believe Terry Pagula and the Buffalo Bills are going to suspend him.
And-
There's no doubt about that. I believe it. They may even make him a healthy scratch.
I think you're correct about that. They're
But
not
I
gonna,
still don't. I don't like the fact, and this is what bugs me about Roger Goodell, is that in America you are innocent until proven guilty. You should not be suspended or fined or lose your job until you've been proven guilty in a court of law. And that's what I don't like about Goodell or even Terry Pagula coming out and saying that when you're suspending him, you're essentially saying he's guilty.
Yeah.
But the
It's-
NFL doesn't rule on the court of law. Or
the NFL
US
rules on
Constitution, for that matter.
how bad of a black eye are you giving us right now?
Pretty much.
Which
I mean,
isn't
they have
always
their
the
own way
player's
of doing
fault.
it.
Yeah. So, again, I think there's a high chance that he gets a low suspension term and a very low chance that it goes beyond 4 games as a maximum.
I mean, he could look at a 2-game suspension from the Bills franchise, maybe a hefty fine from the NFL,
Yeah.
or maybe a fine from both the NFL and the franchise.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You're looking, I'm looking probably at Goodell gives him 4, he appeals to 2, and you've got Carlos Williams starting the first 2 games of the season with Mike Gillespie as his primary backup. That's it.
I mean, in my mind, I don't even see Roger Goodell handing down a suspension. I see Roger Goodell handing out a hefty fine. Just
Why
not
a fine and not a suspension? I
I
mean,
mean,
he doesn't really find anyone before, and he seems to suspend people first off. What makes you think it's going to be changed this time?
first time around. This is LeSean McCoy's first offense. And
But
just,
it's his first offense, but it's not the first thing of him doing something weird. He had that weird party bus thing on the Jersey Turnpike a few years ago, where
That's true.
The girl in the wet t-shirt contest, he just kicked her off on the side of the highway, and then he had that weird Instagram orgy thing that he sent out to everybody. So I mean, he's been in the eye of the NFL, but he's never, like, I see what you're saying, he's never done anything. But a lot of these guys have never done anything, and they still get suspended. I mean, Tom Brady's got as about a perfect of an image as possible, and he got 4 games for deflating footballs.
Yeah,
Well, I mean-
the fine to me, while it's an interesting thought just because it's a less serious punishment for something that we're very early in the process in, usually fines. Goodell, I think, has only fined players when it's like an illegal hit or it's something on the field.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think back to a time where he fined someone for something off the field, and I just can't. I'm not saying it's never happened, but a suspension would probably be the way it's going to go.
Suspension first, yes.
Just because it's an off-the-field issue.
I mean, you never know. I mean, in my mind, the reason why I feel that
Goodell's done crazy things before, though. So
Yeah.
that is true.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the reason why I feel that he would hand on the fine versus
Yeah. He's very
suspension.
very unpredictable.
Yes. But you know what is predictable? We come back on the second half of the hour here. And we're going to talk about the NBA All-Star Game in itself, what caused Evander Kane to have a little bit of partying.
Kobe.
Talk about Kobe. Talk about that dunk contest, though. Keep it here.
Speak correctly.
Complete all with that dunk contest.
Keep it here at 91.3 FM WBNY. The Blitz returns
People got robbed.
in just a little bit. Contest. That was pretty impressive.
Oh, and the NBA so like not ready for it that they had the trophy and everything all set, and then in the celebration like, and your winner Draymond Green,
And then they hand Kevin Hart
Yeah.
a little ribbon.
Kevin Hart just completely blows up the skit. Awesome.
But you have the celebrity game, which was fun. Tom Cavanaugh. I mean, did you see him break some ankles? I didn't know he could ball so hard.
You told me to speak like an adult.
We're talking basketball. We're talking about practice, Derek.
No, we're not talking about practice.
Practice. No, but the dunk contest. Hey, Carlos, I didn't watch the dunk contest. Why don't you fill us in a little bit what happened during this dunk contest? Because I heard there was some controversy that surrounded it.
I mean, in my mind, I did watch the dunk contest, and for the most part, I basically followed Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon. Zach being from the Minnesota Timberwolves and Aaron Gordon being from the Orlando Magic. Zach LaVine went on to win his second consecutive dunk contest. There's a bit of controversy around it, only because of the dunk that he did. A lot of people taking heat. He is just because of the dunk he did. He ended up winning it from a dunk from just about maybe a full foot in from the free throw line over Aaron Gordon, who had done, I believe, a Vince Carter style dunk back years ago in Toronto. He ended up getting a score of 47. Zach LaVine ended up getting a score of 50. So he ended up taking that win out of there. But what was surprising was both of those guys beat out Andre Drummond.
Oh, you said Zach LaVine. Oh, I typed in Adam Levine and came up with Maroon 5.
Nice job, buddy.
No, Zach LaVine ended up winning it. And what's it called? It was Draymond Green. There was one other person. I forgot the fourth contestant in the dunk contest. But I mean, if you were to go online, Google it, or go to YouTube and watch.
I saw
the
the
dunks by
Aaron
these two
Gordon
guys.
dunk. He took it off the mascot and then went underneath his legs and slammed it in.
Yes.
I mean, that's just amazing how somebody can jump that high. But as far as Zach LaVine, I mean, the guy can jump. He can't do much more than that as far as basketball is concerned, I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch him play basketball. I watch basketball pretty regularly. But the guy can only dunk. That's it.
Pretty much.
Guys, I think Jim Ross was there.
What the hell is this now?
Oh.
6'10" frame, which gives him a great leverage advantage. 6'5", 270-pound, badass.
Yeah, those are kind of nasty.
But other than that, I mean, I like the dunk contest a lot. I mean, Shaq at one point, I think it was back-to-back dunks at one point, had put 9s up on the board. The judges all gave 10s, and he put a 9 on the board for both Zach LaVine and
Shaq's
and Aaron
allowed to
Gordon.
do that, though,
Yes.
because he's broken backboards.
No,
Yes, he has,
also
and it's actually kind of funny though.
He was being criticized for giving those 9s, but I
He was.
completely agreed with the reason he did it. He only would give a 10 if you did it on the first try, and I
attempt.
completely agree with that.
That
And,
makes sense.
You shouldn't be able to get a 10 if you fail
No.
once.
And I think that's where Shaq took a lot of heat for that. But also looking at the dunks that these athletes are doing, a lot of them are spinning 360s in the air. Their head is almost at the rim, which for a lot of people looking at it, if you're not live in person, looking at it from a television perspective, that's amazing to see that these guys can get up this high.
Well, wasn't it?
And do this.
Wasn't it Luol Deng when he was in college? They said he could take the quarter off the top of the basketball board.
I haven't heard that. It might be.
I've heard that before.
Oh man,
Yeah, so you're
Might have been about it. It's amazing how high these athletes can get up, and be around the rim and whatnot. So, all in all, if
I
you
get
saw
it.
the dunk
The
contest,
mascot's name for the Magic is Stuff the Magic Dragon. I get it.
That's kind of messed up. But you know what's not messed up?
I get it.
You know what's not messed up though? WBNY alumni Lars Lewis joining us on the phone. Lars, how you doing, buddy?
Hey guys, how are you?
Not
Very
too
well,
bad.
sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing just dandy.
So Lars,
I reckon it's got to be a little warmer out there today than what it's been the last few days.
yes,
that's a low bar.
Oh, I'm still watching this dunk contest, guys. I'm sorry.
it's just
Speaking of
watching it
low
too.
bars,
Yeah. No, that's a high bar. You need a very high bar for
is
these
just
I'm
guys.
talking about you.
amazing.
Oh,
These guys
I'm done.
So Lars, you saw this All-Star game. The dunk contest in particular we're talking about as of right now. What were your thoughts on that?
First off, Aaron Gordon got screwed.
Yeah,
Let's
he did.
Just make that clear.
No, right here, I'm watching it. I agree with you 100%. I mean, that is absolutely amazing what this guy can do. I mean,
And here's something that's more surprising. How come the entourage on the sidelines were more excited for Levine's dunks than they were Gordon's?
Because
even though
it's-
Gordon's was far more difficult.
it's a Jordan
than
dunk.
Levine's was.
It's the Air Jordan dunk where he has
Here
his
we go.
legs spread and
Thank
he's
you.
slamming it home and he's coming from the foul line. The thing is he took off, as Carlos said, about a foot inside the foul
Yeah.
line, and that's not the Jordan dunk. I'm sorry. Aaron Gordon's dunk is much more complicated on the intricacy scale.
And if you looked at Aaron Gordon's dunk,
It just looked clean, too.
He was up in the air, basically, and so to say, he was basically at the rim.
He had to move his head.
and to bring the ball down below his legs and back up in time to go through the hoop.
You saw he had to adjust his head a little bit.
Yeah.
not only does he
He
palm
hopped
the ball,
over a freaking dragon. How do you not support that?
I mean, come on, Blake Griffin hopped over a car.
Twice.
No,
Twice, come on.
He
That's over a car.
palms the ball between his legs, and he has to move his head so he doesn't knock himself out by the rim.
when you got Kenny Smith saying, let's go home, that's it.
Agreed.
It's over.
That's true.
Kenny Smith does that once a year, and when someone does that, that means forget it. Back up, go home. That was the best dunk I've... No, actually, wait a second. His dunk before that was even better than that one. The one where one where stuff is actually spinning around on the hoverboard.
On the Skywalker.
That's the greatest dunk I've ever seen in my life. The timing, you cannot do that any better.
No, and I just saw that one.
Cradled it and slept. Yeah, the freaking Levine, the next dunk did the same exact dunk.
Yeah, I am not impressed with what I'm seeing from Mr. Levine here. I mean, Aaron Gordon, if I'm just watching the highlights between the two of them, and Aaron Gordon, it just sounds weird. Aaron Gordon is much better of a dunker. I mean,
well, the thing is, I'm not taking anything away from Zach Levine. He's a beast. I don't think I could see a guy that has that sort of natural ability that he does when it comes to this contest. However, what Aaron Gordon did that night changed the game of the dunk contest.
You think about it.
Zach Levine's a great dunker. Aaron Gordon was doing stuff nobody has done.
His head is being so close. I mean, this kid's not a joke by any means. Zach Gordon, not Zach Gordon, Aaron Gordon, big kid, and for him to get his head almost parallel with the rim and be able to move and be that athletic around the rim, that actually says something. You know, a lot of his dunks you can see where he's almost parallel with the rim. For him to get it to move his body up and out of the way is amazing.
No, I agree. I mean, he is by just watching the highlights, I mean, he looks like he's a far superior dunker. And as Lars saying, don't take anything away from Levine, but Aaron Gordon should have won this contest hands down. I mean, he just looks like he's better, faster, can jump higher, the whole thing. And even the crowd's reaction to Aaron Gordon's dunk versus Zach Levine's dunk, the crowd is just out of their seats when Aaron Gordon dunked versus when Levine dunked. So we'll keep seeing if he can do it. But I mean, LeBron's never been in a contest.
Next year. The NBA has their new MJ and Neek.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Both those guys got to be in there next year.
Look at this. His head is.
I'm a basketball guy. I've always wanted to see LeBron in the dunk contest. It's never going to happen. But it was definitely. I'm watching it right now, and I'm kind of upset that I missed it. But yeah, he was definitely robbed.
Better late than never. There,
right? He was definitely robbed.
I'm actually happy that these rookies and these young guys that not many people know about outside fans of those teams, they're getting the shine. Like, now people notice these guys. And that's one thing. If you want to have a LeBron, you want to have a Kobe, you want to have the superstars in the dunk contest, people got to realize these guys are basketball players.
I liked how he goes
what
up
these kids are doing right now, those guys have been creating these dunks. They're made for a contest like this. And I'm happy that they've taken this direction where they're actually getting young players that are proficient dunkers. Because that's the point of the contest. Not exactly the superstar, but what the guy can do when he dunks the ball.
I mean, think about it. Andre Drummond wasn't even a real factor in this dunk contest. And he probably...
Not really at all.
He probably had...
He looked really out of place in that contest.
He had to be probably one of the more hyped people to be in this than anything. And he wasn't really even a factor.
Well, the difference is that Andre Drummond's actually a great basketball player.
That is true.
Yeah. Andre Drummond, if he had any sort of help in Detroit, I think personally he's probably one of the top 10 best players in the league.
Definitely, but it's all about location
and surrounding talent.
It's him being in the All-Star game, not exactly him being in a dunk contest.
Yeah. So now we move on from dunks on dunks to the game itself. Guys, there were a lot of points scored in this thing. It was like Rob Ryan.
Yo, dog, I heard you like points.
It was like Rob Ryan was the coach for these teams on their defensive schemes.
Boom!
369 points scored between
You can go
teams.
now. You can go now.
No, that was some truth right there.
Go ahead.
It's freaking insane. I saw 196 that resembled my golf score last week.
You still golfing in the wintertime, though?
The 190.
Oh, he's out in Cali.
He's out in Cali.
Oh, lucky.
The 196
He'll be
points is
back.
a lot. I mean, you'll eventually going to see 200 in an All-Star game just because there's no defense played. I mean, these guys just take shots. I mean, I'm watching the game. I'm watching the first part of the game last night, and I'm watching, and I was like, oh, this is just normally how Carmelo Anthony plays, so he should be used to this. Just take every shot that he's able to take. But I did like the one little play. I think it was Carmelo to Dwayne Wade off the backboard to LeBron James slam dunk
yes,
in the
that
very
was nice.
first period.
That was
That was
nice.
fun to watch.
Man.
That was a nice little thing. The best thing to take away from the whole All-Star weekend, though, is the fact that it was there. They honored Kobe Bryant. I mean, sure, he's had some legal troubles in the past 10 years or so, but the guy has been amazing as a player to watch. And then funny thing is it's in Toronto, and that's where he dropped his 84 points, and that's the most points probably any of us have. 81 points, sorry.
Yeah.
That's the most points that any of us have pretty ever seen. And
In the current era, yes.
and he is.
Well, no, actually, no. That game was in Los Angeles.
Was it in Los Angeles?
Yeah,
I thought it was in Toronto.
LA against. I think it was against Toronto.
I thought.
They played against Toronto. It was in.
I
LA.
thought it was in Toronto. My mistake. I'm sorry. But then I think
Thought you were never wrong with the headphones.
I'm not. But then you go ahead and you look at what happened, and I mean, even Jordan giving him the 30 sneakers. I thought that was just a nice thing between those two guys, and just the whole weekend was about Kobe and about his last game and all that stuff. I just thought it was really fun.
You want to know the funny part is that this story came out just today that Dwayne Wade gave Kobe a retirement gift. You want to know what it was? It was a 1-year subscription to Netflix.
What, does he not think that he's only going to stay retired for 1 year? Or is he just...
No, no, I just thought it was a rather funny gift because does Kobe really watch any TV?
Unless it's a
Well, he's
video
gonna be
about
retired,
himself.
so he might as well.
Yeah.
He's still going to be in the gym. Let's admit this,
Yeah, that's
guys.
true.
He's not going to. That thing, he won't play in the league anymore, but he's not going to give it up.
Right.
He's still going to be in the gym. He's still going to be doing fadeaways. He'll find any league anywhere. And he'll just go and just destroy people.
Yeah, that's
Kobe
true.
is someone that can't live without basketball, I think.
Well, I mean, he's played for 20 years. I think it is a time for him to retire. I mean, we've all kind of seen it this year where his body's just not able to go ahead and he's not able to score. He doesn't have the same touch. He's not able to shoot the ball as well. But I agree with you. He's still going to be doing something, even if it is playing somewhere somehow. I mean, he could go to China and make $1 billion if he wanted to, because they would love him over there. But
Oh, dude, he's
who knows what would
god
happen?
there.
Yeah, he is.
He can make that money in China and play at least 15, 20 minutes a game.
Yeah, and
they'd
they
be
pay him
okay
a ton
with
of
it.
money.
And they'd be okay with it.
And everyone would be okay with it. His opponents wouldn't, but
No.
So
You think his teammates would?
Probably.
hey, you get to play with Kobe Bryant. Cool.
Sign me up.
Yeah, I think that it was good that they honored Kobe Bryant with this one. And, it's one of those things where I think that Kobe was one of those generational talents all throughout the years. I think, was there a season that he missed that he wasn't nominated as an All-Star? I think he was perfect in his
20 years to 18 All-Star games.
Okay, so 20 and 18. Yikes.
Yeah, I think there was
though-
a year where he missed it because of his Achilles tendon, but
Yeah.
was voted in by the fans, which a lot of people didn't like
Yeah.
because he only played a certain
John
amount of
Scott
games.
proves to us why fans can't have nice things, but
Aw.
it was a good story. But at the same time, come on, nice job, fans.
Well, it gave you a reason to watch it.
You got him traded from Arizona.
Yeah, that is kind of messed up.
Yeah,
But
and
that's not the fans' fault.
some of those fans wanted to see the 6'8" giraffe just get burned on skates.
And he proved to be a little bit better of a player than everybody else thought he was.
Exactly.
It
So
turned out to be the greatest All-Star game I've ever seen.
turned out to be one of the best. Yes. So
Probably the best weekend.
yeah. Well, I don't know. Evander Kane begs to differ.
And then that's where the music starts.
I don't have it anymore.
Well,
So missed by me there.
yeah.
But again, I think it was a very good weekend there. Very good stuff, I think. And, lots of entertainment. No such thing as defense. Who cares? It's the All-Star game. Yada, yada, yada.
I mean, I think there was more defense in Team USA versus Team World game, which is considered the Rising Stars Challenge.
Yes.
That game was, 157, 154, I think it was?
That was the first time I've seen Anthony Bennett play basketball in a while.
Yeah.
He's garbage.
Wow.
For being a first overall pick, you can barely stick around on a team. Toronto's his third team in like 4 seasons or however.
Well, I don't think that's his fault, though. Hold on, I really don't think that's his fault, though, because he did get bounced around a lot.
He's been bounced around. Toronto's his third team. I mean, he's not that good to be. I mean, it's because he's the first overall pick. That's the thing.
The pressure.
Yeah, he's
Think about who picked him, though.
The Cavs. Sorry, they haven't had luck with Kyrie Irving and Tristan Thompson and LeBron James. Yeah, they have a bad track record of first overall
Deion
picks.
Waiters, don't forget Deion Waiters in there. Throw him in there.
Yeah.
Guess where he's playing now?
But I'm saying, look at Kyrie.
Westbrook and Durant. He's playing over there.
Yeah, but look at Kyrie and look at Tristan Thompson. Those guys came from the same draft. And,
Come on, man! It's not like every first round pick's gonna be great.
I'm saying first
You're bound to
overall-
have a bad one.
first
You want them to be
overall pick.
decent, not
want-
like Anthony Bennett.
Yeah, you want
Trade bait.
Yeah,
That is true.
He is not. I mean, I'm saying from a Bills fan who we know how bad first overall picks go.
Wait,
Whenever-
our first overall picks were pretty good.
No, I mean first picks in general. But
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at the 2013 draft. The same guys that came out of there. It wasn't that good of a draft anyway.
I agree. It really
It was
wasn't.
actually an awful draft.
I don't think
Really
there's a single
nobody of
like
note.
all-star or anything of anybody of note. I mean, the best players in that draft
Hold on, wait.
probably are Nerlens Noel.
No. No.
Ben. Okay, well here's the top 10: Bennett, Oladapo, Porter, Zeller, Len, Noel, McLemore, Claudel Pope, Burke, McCollum. That's your top 10.
Out of that top 10.
Michael Carter Williams is probably the best player at 11. And
Oh, whoa.
No.
And then-
Hold on,
Wait,
You gotta back it up here.
stop.
then the Greek
I'm going to
freak.
go get some popcorn. I'll be right back.
And then the Greek freak out of that guys of that
Wait.
team.
Wait a second. Victor Oladipo is going to be one of the top 20 players in the league next year.
Who's he got around him? Who's he got
Aaron
around him?
Gordon.
We're talking about players, though. We're not talking about team records.
Player-wise and potential-wise, who does Victor Oladipo have around him?
Aaron Gordon. We just
Yeah,
talked
but
about
he's
how
a big
awesome he
man.
is.
How does Aaron Gordon? How does Aaron Gordon benefit Victor
We're not
Oladipo?
talking about other guys.
No, we're talking about the
We're
best
talking
players
about the
to
best
come from the
players.
draft. Of that draft,
Victor Oladipo is as talented as any of those top 10.
But was he in this year's All-Star game?
But All-Star
Oh my
Games is not a
God, man.
judgment of how good a player is in any way in any sport. Oladipo, if even from a casual fan, he's athletic, he does everything. It's not his fault that the Magic are a train wreck of a franchise. He's a great player, and it's not his fault who's around him. It's like if you go to a player in the NFL like J.J. Watt last year, he had a terrible team around him in Houston. Does that mean that he's not one of the top players in the league? No.
Exactly.
So
That is true.
I get
Oladipo's
your
only
point.
23 years old. He's not old.
Yeah, there is going to
Not
be
yet.
situations, though, like with Anthony Bennett, where he should get a small pass for the fact that he hasn't been in a stable situation and not on a great team that could help him that way. But he also shouldn't get any credit because he's not that good a player.
Good enough to be
So
taken
you can
number
look at
one.
it from either way.
We can bring up the fact that Oladipo is going to be a star in this league. This is
Most
only his
definitely
second
he
year.
will. Most
Look at this.
definitely.
Look at this. Last year, in his second season, 17.9 points per game, 4.1 assists, 4.2 rebounds, 81% free throw shooter. The guy can play. The only problem is, it's like, what he said. His team stinks. It's hard for a guy to launch himself into being an all-star when your team is so bad that you're going to get overlooked for other guys that may have the same numbers you do, but they're on better teams. And Orlando is still very young. They got Alfred Payton. They've got, obviously, Aaron Gordon.
I think they still have Evan
Orlando's gonna be
Fournier,
good
who I thought was
soon.
really good in Denver.
I think in 2 years, Orlando's
Is he-
going to
is
get
he
back in the
still- is he
playoffs.
still in Orlando?
They need time.
They need time. Absolutely. You're right there. Now, guys, just to rewind a couple minutes there, all this debate just made me think something was going to happen like this.
Somebody hit somebody!
So that got intense real quick.
No,
And it took an Orlando Magic debate.
Yeah, who'd have thought that? Just
Um,
an argument ensues because of two guys in Orlando.
That's true.
Congratulations, guys. We did
Honestly,
it.
I think one of the better people to come out of that 2013 draft would have to be C.J. McCollum in that 10 spot by the Portland Trailblazers. He's
nice.
He's come along. Now he's got Damian Lillard to play alongside with him. It's just, but with Portland, with Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum in their backcourt, I think they're going to be a team to be reckoned with in the next couple of years.
Which is kind of crazy because Portland traded everybody.
Actually, they lost Robin Lopez to free agency.
Well, that's what I mean. Everybody was gone in Portland. Robin Lopez was gone. Obviously, Aldridge went to San Antonio. 2 of their 3 best players gone. It's like Lillard was literally by himself this year. I'm amazed Portland's even at this point. A lot of people were saying they were going to lose maybe 50 or 55 games.
Yep, you never know.
But I do think it's a credit to Terry Stotts, the head coach, that he's kept this thing together.
I mean, they're sitting 7th in the conference at 27-27. So.
Yeah, all right.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though it seems like the West isn't as strong this year as it usually is.
Well, it's still
I think it's because
Golden State's running over everyone.
There we go.
Yeah, Golden State and San Antonio, and then it's pretty much everybody else.
48-4.
Yeah, that's.
Think they'll get to 73?
Nah.
No, that's a mark that's just that hard to get.
It
Who do you
is
think
so
will be in their way?
difficult.
Think it'll be the Bucks again? That would be funny.
That would
Bucks
be funny.
Again.
Getting in the way. But yeah, I think that's one of those all-time records that is pretty much untouchable. Kind of like Gretzky's points and assists.
Right.
Hell, even his goals. I think Jágr would have had a chance if he didn't leave for 5 years. At the goals, at least.
Yeah, that's right.
But
No.
Of course, you. Welcome back, James.
Sorry.
I second, but I mean, there's 2 things I'm almost pretty certain that you're never going to see records broken. I'll even go as far as saying 3. I don't think you're ever going to see Joe DiMaggio's hit streak broken. Of
course.
I don't think you're ever going to see
57?
Cal Ripken's game streak broken, and I don't think you're ever going to see Gretzky's point total broken.
Point total, absolutely not.
Because-
Assist total, absolutely not.
Because if you look at, I mean, the craziest thing about Gretzky's point total, and everybody who knows hockey knows this, if you take away the goals, he's still the leader in points.
Yep. Take away every single goal, and you're exactly right. He'd still be the all-time
And
leader.
he's still by like 200 points, too. It's not even close.
My God.
That's
Yep.
that, and
that's Wayne Gretzky.
There's Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky.
He's got one of the. Those are the 3 records I think in sports that are never going to be
Frank, was
touched. It's tough because there's a few other ones. I mean, that are out there, but those 3 I don't think are ever going to be touched by anybody.
Maybe you could put Berder's records in there.
Nope.
Too.
I think a lot of hockey
No,
records.
that can be had.
All right, guys, we're up at the clock. I don't know if we can get into another debate like this. So, Lars Lewis, thanks for calling in, buddy.
Hey, no problem. It's good hearing from you guys. What's on the slate the rest of the night?
Well, we've got Football Club of Buffalo coming up next. All your premier soccer talk with Nick Mandola and Ben Sujimoto. We've got the off season, your go-to place for anything football talk during this off season, and then Neutral Ice at 8:00. So
Hey,
there's
Derek,
your sports
would it be-
docket.
Hey, would it be all right if I could probably give? So what time's the off season?
Off season is in 2 hours at 6:00.
Awesome.
Would it be all right if I could
Actually,
call
1
in?
hour.
Hey, wouldn't that be an hour?
Yeah, well, it was 1 hour. That I suck at math.
6
apparently.
o'clock.
Call in.
Yes, Lou.
Yes.
Yes, Lars. We would love to have you on.
Absolutely.
when do you-
I've been itching to talk football.
So have I.
I'll talk to you on this one later, but I'm going to ask you probably off the air when you're coming back because we'd love to have you in the booth.
Lars will be back in May.
Lars, you're going to be back in May. That's great.
Well, we don't really know exactly.
Lars is hopefully going to be back in May. Lars Lewis, thank you for calling in. We love having you talking with us.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Lars Lewis, a WBNY alum. So for Joe DiBiase, for Ryan Mullen, who've already taken off, for Frank Arcuri, and Carlos, I don't have your last name down. Say the last name again for me. Say your last name again for me, Carlos.
Oh, Carlos Mercado.
Carlos Ricardo. For James Bittler, I'm Derek Kramer. This has been the Buffalo Blitz on 91.3 FM, WBNY.
I tell you, that I missed practice, if a coach say I missed practice and y'all hear it, then that's that. I mean, I might have missed.
You're listening to